What is going on, everybody? We are back on it. Hunter x Hunter chapter 382. Coming down to it. Got less than about, what is it, 391. We're kind of getting to the climax here. We're building up a little bit. We saw one of the spirit beasts get taken out last episode, and we're seeing pretty much Benjamin is, slowly, looks to be slowly plucking things off one by one. We haven't caught up with Kurapika in, what, 2 chapters? Maybe even 3. It's been very, Nen Beast, Mafia, Spider focused. But I mean, Benjamin, he has the authority to put any of his bodyguards with any of the princes, and most of them are not going to decline. As they're also finding information out about the spirit beast, so that they can slowly take them out one by one, and then send in. So once they've gotten rid of the beast that are going to be guarding the princes, then they can send in the assassin types that will be able to slip past the hunters and things like that. So it's all unfair. So we'll see who is basically going to be able to stop Benjamin from doing what he's doing, because we saw the recipe last chapter. Send in his bodyguards. Most of the princes will accept it. They'll infiltrate, find out information. They don't know the princes are trying to get rid of the spirit beast, but they will switch out bodyguards, have the assassins go and take them out, and then move on to the next. Maybe that's something Kurapika's group might be able to see. Maybe T-Dog if we ever catch back up with him and kind of play around with it and see how it goes. I have a new link again for this chapter, so you guys let me know if this was. I think everything, but everybody told me everything except for one panel was unofficial last chapter, so you guys can let me know about this. And we'll go from there. Chapter 382, Awakening. Here he comes again every morning on the dot. Oh, he's still trying to get a meeting with his dad. Good morning, 9th Prince Halkenberg. Another letter. We'll take that for you. No, yes. I came here to deliver something else. Oh! Man pulled out that hot steel. I came here to deliver something else in person. Don't move. Oh, the whole squad did. And I forget what his Nen spirit beast with the feathers, does that make people want to follow Halkenberg even more? Like they believe in him even more? But then I'm trying to remember, what's the difference between his spirit beast and the one we just got rid of that made people have an infatuation with him? Would they like die for him? I can't remember if Halkenberg's people, like if they already support him, whatever he might suggest or want to do, they'll support, 100 times more. But then I'm trying to remember the spirit beast we got rid of last one. Was it along the same lines, making people want to do things for, have an infatuation with? Because you would think these guys would know, hey, if we point guns here, we're going against like the royal army and the king himself. But maybe they're so infatuated with, from the spirit beast that they're down. It took 4 days to get them to lower their guns. Oh, so they kept coming back, and I guess every day the king's guards would point at them, but after the 4th day, they're like, alright, and then, okay, so they finally got him. But I made it in time before another prince was sacrificed. He really got in there. He sure did. Let's put an end to this. Oh no, once and for all, father. This isn't going to work. I think Halkenberg just ends up getting killed, no? Well, their spirit beasts will be on each other, so... let's see. It's too late. There's still time. You consented to the ritual. I was never told we were here to kill each other. It's an important part of the process to be able to adapt to new situations. I see. Then this is my answer. You must decide to suspend the succession battle, or I'll shoot. Have we seen his spirit beast? I feel like we have. I can't remember what it looks like, so I'm trying to remember what it would like. Was it an aggressive, like melee looking type, or was it one of those more kind of passive looking ones? I can't remember. The battle for succession is out of my hands now. I can't do anything about it anymore. Just call it off. I refuse. The battle is for you, all of you. Don't let others do the work for you. You need to take action, Halkenberg. There is nothing more disgusting than hypocrisy. With a revolution, I will become king and put a stop to this battle. Oh fuck, he pulled the trigger? Before I scroll down, I'm trying to think what would happen here. Does the Nen Beast save him? Spirit Beast save him? Does his father have a Nen ability we don't know about that'll protect him from this bullet? Or does he actually die? Word of that gets out. You know, the king's dead, and all hell breaks loose, at least on the upper levels. Who knows what the succession battle will go into? If he's dead, would it still even hold weight? Is it the first to say, hey, I'm king? I don't know. Let's see. First of all, let's see if he actually died. Spirit Beast might have protected him. Oh my god. He caught it, or his Nen Beast caught it, and he's just plucking the results off. It didn't even break. He has like a barrier on him, and it didn't even go through. Good aim, but always fire 3 shots when shooting to kill. I am but a part of the ritual now. I have a role, and I cannot die until it ends. Wow. But he was saying, you know, fire 3 shots when shooting to kill. Is he implying that had he fired more than one, it would have worked? No, because if that was the case, he could just spit out the whole clip right here. So the current, I don't know of when the ritual happens. So when the seed urn ceremony happens, is that when the ritual starts? And when that ritual has begun, the current king becomes invincible until the succession battle has completed, and then they pass on. I wonder what, like, do they... This seems like a very big thing to have, because he could get away with it. The king could do a lot right now with this, if he really is, like, invincible to everybody. Or could he not be killed by, like, a current prince? Could he not be assassinated by someone that's done the seed ceremony? But, like, could the whole Phantom Troop walk up in there and go off on him and him still not die? I wonder what the specifics are on that. I have a role and I cannot die until it ends. Sir, these circumstances were accounted for before the ship's departure as secret training exercises. 9th Prince Halkenberg and your guards will not be punished. So this was all within expected parameters. Did he pull that? Did he pull that? He did. I mean, unless within the king's presence you're not even able to kill yourself. Or unless something part of the seed urn ceremony prevents you from harming yourself. Oh, God. Oh, the Spirit Beast caught it, bro. He literally... How did he catch it? There was no room to catch the bullet. It was pressed on his damn head. Shit. That's wild. Your Nen Beast agrees with me. Are you awake now? Have you heard of the prisoner's trolley problem? Are you saying our countrymen are on one track and my sibling princes are on the other? You think this is a binary choice? That's not like you. It proves you're not thinking straight. So, I'm curious if, again, Halkenberg's is a different form. Would all of the Spirit Beasts be able to protect the princes from committing suicide? Or just the ones that seem to be a little more kind of like prepared for battle? Like the one we exercised last chapter. If that prince did the same thing, is that beast going to be able to save him? I don't know. What must survive is the country. The people's lives always comes first. The question is, who pulls the lever? You cannot be king without bearing the cross. You cannot change the country without being king. What is this an image of? Is this his Spirit Beast here? Tell me you don't need a king after you become one. Shikaku respond. Shikaku here. I'm in room 1009. The 9th Prince wants to deliver Went to deliver his petition to the king. I was resting. Yes, it is odd that I'm sleeping when he's out. His Nen beast must have attacked. There's no mark. It might have faded away. Revolution, but he withdrew from the battle. They're all gone. I'll be right over. Don't worry, the king is safe. Things cooled off under the pretense of a drill, but he went to kill father. Is this everybody walking back with him? He failed. Now he's steeled himself. Halkenberg has awakened and will go all out now. Prioritize his elimination. Procure his ability. Halkenberg's ability? Did he just like awaken an ability out of rage of the situation? Because to my knowledge, people told me there's only 2 princes that know how to use Nen. Camille and Benjamin. And T-Dog is currently in the process of it. So did Halkenberg just awaken some kind of specialist ability from just the pure emotional roller coaster he just went through? Or Yu-Gi-Oh! His followers' aura united becomes an unparalleled armor to protect the prince and an arrow to pierce his enemies. Does he know that though? Because the thing talking about his followers aura united, but isn't this stemming from his spirit beast? Or because he looks like he's actively controlling, like in these panels at least. But he wouldn't be aware of what his spirit beast is doing. I can't remember. We gotta go back. But yeah, I mean, I've been told multiple times that there was only 2 that knew how to use Nen. So how is Halkenberg like actively using what his spirit beast has produced, or would even be aware of? Because it looks like his aura becomes a bow and guides the arrow true. War changes the enemy's institutions through force. Combat annihilates the enemy's will itself through force to wield. Because I can't. I'm just hung up on because I didn't know Halkenberg had an ability. It looks like he's actively using this, but I still think it's from his spirit beast. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it after. Let's see if we get any more information. Such a force is to be willing to face death. The fired arrow pierces the enemy's every possible defense and robs the flesh of its will. What did he just put up right there? He put up some like triple layer Rashomon shit. Or maybe that's his Nen ability, is maybe like an impenetrable wall or force or Nen wall or something. Or he could maybe see that Halkenberg was looking to shoot some kind of projectile, so maybe that's part of his ability. Or did he put up some kind of like Nen wall that anybody with some skill would be able to do? Or so I mean, it pierced through everything, defense, and robs the flesh of its will. So is it an arrow not to damage, but an arrow to control? In exchange for the body of one of his followers. I can't even make it into a card. In other words... What? Whoa. Once the bow is drawn, an arrow that cannot be intercepted or defended against pierces the target. It's an ability that ensures victory in individual combat. Okay, so it looks like he does have some kind of like pocket dimension. I can, stop an attack and turn it into what he said to be, a card? So maybe he can pull a Nen wall out, absorb any incoming attacks, and transport that into what he says to be a card. I'm curious if, who even knows, because this guy looks to be done, if he could like spit those cards back out and reflect whatever has come in, like he can pull it out of his pocket at any time. But does it even matter? No, this guy. Your Highness, your orders, please. Okay. So, wait, did I just go to a new chapter? There's 3 more images. We're going to talk about that. That was the second time. There was a powerful indulgence of aura along with rumbling. I must keep accurate track of the things in general direction. Now that the silent assassin hasn't struck in a while, we have allowed Intimidator. If this is an individual's power, we can't defend against its once targeted. Is my only option to be wary? No, I've done all that I could to make doubly sure. Helplessness will only be detrimental to my men. The enemy is an endurance race. Is oneself. He got killed. So they swapped places. The assassin of Benjamin's group came in, took his ass out. So that's 2 confirmed dead princes, correct? Yep, it is. And the banquet is here. 8th day, 8 p.m. the banquet begins. 2 princes, because it looked like he's been found dead. 2 down. What was there, 14 in total? So there's 12 left. We gotta go back and talk about pretty much the highlight of the chapter here. This ability. This is like narrator explaining this here. So he has an ability, so it looks like it's not an arrow that's of complete destruction, but an arrow to, honestly, manipulate. Which is what his Spirit Beast was, manipulating people to, come to his side. I really want to Google that. Halkenberg's Nen Beast. I hope this doesn't lead to any spoilers or anything, but I really gotta know. Let's see. Appearance, personality, blah, 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 plot. This is gonna be spoilerish, I already know. There's gotta be something up here, though. I'm trying not to scroll down. During the first dinner banquet, Halkenberg approaches his father. Person on his shoulder, smile. Halkenberg rushes to the next room to see the Halkenberg agrees to send his bodyguard. The following morning, he gathers his bodyguards outside. King forbid. The royal army, however, denies the entry. Yeah, I'm not gonna read any lower because I feel like that'll probably be spoilerish. I feel like I'm playing a risky game here. Guardian Spirit Beast. I don't want to read all these because a lot of them we haven't seen yet, like being explained, but I really need to know Halkenberg. Halkenberg, right? I promise I'm not looking at anything else. Halkenberg's Guardian Spirit Beast resembles a giant gargoyle with 1 big eye, 4 nostrils, yada yada yada. Well, the 2 horns. It is an enhancer that is also capable of manipulation. After knocking them out, which we've seen before, they all pass out and they don't know how they passed out, and they wake up without memory of it, and they have the feathers on them. I'm not knocking them out. It imprinted opinion on the back of Halkenberg's bodyguard's left hand. Their memories of being rendered unconscious were rewritten, so they don't even remember passing out, they just remember waking up. Oh, so he was hit with that, but he said he didn't see a feather. Like, he said he was resting because Halkenberg left. Maybe he actually had already been pierced? The more people are imprinted with the mark, and the more of them gather around Halkenberg, all with the same will, the more their aura output grows, reaching levels that surpass all Nen abilities. Well, that didn't clear anything up for me at all. So where's the more their aura output grows? This statement saying here. What do they mean by Nen aura output and growing? The more followers they pull in, the bigger the aura gets, because, you know, the more you add a person, that's another, you know, X amount of aura. If each person counts for 100 aura, I've got 5 on me. All of a sudden, I add a 6th person, that's more aura. I add a 7th, that's more aura. Is that what they're talking about? Aura output? The more people are imprinted with the mark, and the more of them gather around Halkenberg, all with the same will. But then what the hell was what was the gaseous boy? What was his? Guardian Spirit Beast is shaped like a confetti ball with multiple mouths on his board. The Nen Beast is a manipulator, capable of controlling many targets via the periodic secretion of a white smoke. The variables depending on the prince's state of mind with a radius of 7 meters. After a certain amount of time, a small copy of the Guardian Spirit Beast, for a reason. For a person who was loyal to start with 8 hours, for possession of replica 70 hours, the replicas give up the same thing. According to Ren, if left to itself, the Guardian Spirit Beast would have the power to create the strongest dictatorship in the country. It was countered. So again, this is kind of the same am I wrong to say these two seem similar in what they do? Even though Halkenberg seems to be a little bit more handy as far as if someone came up to him with a gun to assassinate him, would be able to protect him a little bit more than this. What's the difference between the two? He's a manipulator, talking about, controlling people. He can control people that were already, Guardian spirits would appear above the head of whoever inhales the smoke, rendering them smit. You'll just basically he's creating this one, the Sail, is creating an infatuation with that prince. It'll make you like him, become infatuated, support him, and that's why they said this could create the biggest dictatorship in the country. Because he could just go around little bit by little bit, taking people over and over and over out of. This one, make this written to prevent them from panicking. The more people are imprinted with the mark, and the more of them gather around Halkenberg, all with the same will. But their will is being controlled by Halkenberg's Nenbeast, correct? Or is by their will is whatever Halkenberg wants it to be in I don't know the word I'm looking for, but the Nen Spirit Beast imprints on them, they all surround Halkenberg. Does Halkenberg's will subconsciously go to the Spirit Beast, which then he subconsciously puts out around the others around him, so they're all following the same thing? It's all connected through whatever the Nen channels you want to talk about. With the aura output grows, reaching levels that surpass all Nen abilities. So I'm getting the same, these two abilities seem the same to me. As far as getting others to like you, want to follow you, their will. He's over here saying, this Nen ability is saying it reaches levels that surpass all Nen abilities. Why is that, though? Because they all of their abilities get heightened, or Halkenberg's able to control all of that? I don't know. Maybe we'll get a better explanation on that. The other question is, how does Halkenberg even know what he's doing here? Because I didn't think he knew Nen. Or maybe maybe up to this point in the chapter, maybe that's why people told me only 2. Maybe this whole entire time Halkenberg has been able to use Nen, and just me as a reader up to chapter 382, we were just under the impression that it was only Benjamin and Camille. That'd make more sense. Or he just had a really traumatic experience and he unlocked something, but then just to be able to use it like that off the bat I feel like Hunter x Hunter's always had better writing than that, for somebody to just go through something traumatic, unlock an ability, and then be able to use it as fluent as this. So he gets people to want to follow him, is what he's able to do with his Nen ability. And then maybe the Spirit Beast is piggybacking off of that. Maybe that is, because we've seen the Spirit Beast kind of take over characteristics of what their prince kind of already portrays internally, externally, thoughts, characteristics. So maybe Halkenberg always knew how to use Nen, but us as a viewer didn't know it. And the Spirit Beast has also taken on a similar thing as far as, oh, he can get people to want to follow him. Why don't I also embody something that would help that? But is his still controlling, though? So it enhances aura and it manipulates. And the more gathered around him. Once you're hit with that mark, are you kind of made to follow Halkenberg's will, is my question. That's kind of where we're hung up on. Is that what it's making you do? Once you're imprinted, you'll wake up, not know what the hell happened, and then want to follow him? Or it only works if you were already wanting to follow him, correct? Because didn't we see other people get hit with the feather and they were like, okay, so what? And the feather disappeared? Because they didn't already have that loyalty to Halkenberg, I think. The more people imprinted with the mark, the more gather around him. And the more their aura output grows, reaching levels. So when it says their aura output grows, does that mean I know them as a collective group, yes, their aura output will grow. But then are we saying in turn that strengthens their current Nen abilities? So like if I'm gone, for example, and I take a liking to Halkenberg, I meet him like, oh, he's not such a bad guy. You know, I'd help him become king. And Gon kind of hangs around him, gets imprinted with it. It says their ore output grows. Their ore output meaning something Halkenberg kind of controls everybody's abilities at once with that given power, or Gon specifically would generate more power output because their aura collectively is growing, reaching levels that surpass all Nen abilities. Huh. This says it has a chapter here. 375, which we already read. Oh, that's not taking me to shit. Yeah. Somebody ought to give me a better explanation on that. Because I feel like I'm making it maybe more difficult than it needs to be. And then this is kind of the variable that I unaccounted for was Halkenberg being able to use Nen. He's clearly using Nen. It doesn't look like, unless his spirit beast is taking over him and doing this. But his followers' aura united becomes an unparalleled armor to protect the prince and an arrow to pierce his enemies. So he's got all these followers around him. The more he has around him, the stronger that shield becomes. So if he has 3 people around him, you know, he's got an armor, shield, aura that would, you know, be as strong as what those 3 can output. He's got 30 following him. That's how much stronger it'll come to, you know, break that armor was what I'm getting. And an arrow to pierce his enemies. His aura becomes a bow and guides the arrow true. But this seems like something he would already know how to do or has done. War changes the enemy's institutions through force. Combat annihilates the enemy's will itself through force. To wield such a force is to be willing to face death. War changes the enemy's institution through force. Combat annihilates the enemies. So that's Halkenberg talking to himself. The fired arrow pierces the enemy's every possible defense and robs them of its flesh. Robs the flesh of its will. So it pierces him. Didn't physically harm him, but now I am basically manipulating you in any way I want. In exchange for the body of one of his followers. So to take over somebody else, he's got to sacrifice somebody that's already under the manipulation, and they just go back to being a regular person, or like he's sacrificing the life of one of his followers in exchange for the body of one of his followers. Or are we doing some like Ino from Naruto mind transfer thing where once I pierce you, I'm going to sacrifice the body, because we see the body here and the guy on his left. We see that him standing here and then the body falls. Is he just taking that guy's consciousness that already supports Halkenberg, I'm down for the cause, I want to ride, putting it in that person's body? I think, because we see the body fall off here. So he pierces it, I'm taking over your body and will. In turn, I'm sacrificing somebody that's already supporting me, but now I'm going to have you support me. I can't even make it into a card. In other words, once the bow is drawn, an arrow that cannot be intercepted or defended against pierces the target. Okay, so we see the dead body on the ground here. So nobody would be able to defend against this. And I mean absolutely nobody, correct? I'm saying nobody meaning from like from Miriam to Ging to Gon to Chrollo to Hisoka, X, Y, and Z. Who's stopping this? It's an ability that ensures victory in individual combat. So if he has a group with him, like his followers, even if it's just one person. But here's the thing, if it's just one person, does that make the arrow easier to block? Because clearly now maybe the amount of people Halkenberg had with him made the arrow that much stronger, so this person wouldn't be able to defend it. But if he had only 2 people with him, the arrow might not have been as strong, but it says it's unblockable. Once the bow is drawn, it cannot be intercepted or defended. So maybe even if he's only rolling with one person, it doesn't really matter. It's an ability that ensures victory in individual combat. Your Highness, your orders, please. So when he's waking up, is he still the person he was? He doesn't have the other person's mind. He's like, basically, I'm trading out a body for a body. This body is going to be a lot more helpful to Halkenberg's cause because he's plugged in directly to Benjamin. I'm not transferring minds. I'm not putting person A's mind into B's body. I'm just getting rid of person A, and now I want person B. So is this person going to naturally report back to Halkenberg, let him know information if he goes back? Or has this person been placed here, or he's just here for the moment? Or is he going back and forth with Benjamin? Because I'm curious, once you kind of leave Halkenberg's area, do you slowly, you know, shake it off like you were drugged or something like that? Or you're still locked in, fully loaded to carrying out whatever Halkenberg wants to? Not sure. That was a lot and got a lot deeper than I expected there. And oh yeah, and about the king being unkillable. Is it just unkillable to any of the other princes that wanted to kill him? Again, could Hisoka and Chrollo walk in there and kill him if they wanted to, or he still couldn't be killed in that instance? And if that's the case, I don't know if there's something mentally going on, but he could do and accomplish whatever he would want to in this time because he can't die. So if he really wanted to accomplish something or kill somebody or really do something that would probably cost him his life, he could, if he wanted to invade another country right now, literally walk in there, you know, with an army at his back and him just walking in. No one's taking him out if he really can't die. Huh. Curious on that. So we got to figure out, you guys feel free to answer the questions about the king. Halkenberg, you know, is it a manipulation? What's the difference between Halkenberg's, you know, ability, Spirit Beast, and the prince that we just saw die here at the end? What's the difference? Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I could go for another 30 minutes on that back and forth, but I'm not even going to try to go all into that. We'll leave it there. This will be up Monday for this will be up Monday for Patreon, Friday for YouTube. Might actually have this up Sunday, because I'm recording it Saturday afternoon, so should have some time to just get it up and we can go from there. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Pretty interesting chapter, for sure. A lot to go back and forth with, but you guys will figure it out, and we'll keep it going. Chapters are getting down. We're getting down. We're into the single digits left on chapters, so after that, hopefully before I turn 50, 60, I mean, it's got to be by the time I turn 60, 70, because when you start creeping into your like 80s and 90s, who's to say where my mind or reading comprehension might go? I could completely forget about Hunter x Hunter by then, not even know what it is, and read a chapter and have no meaning. So hopefully by the time I turn like 70, we'll have caught back up. But actually, I'm gonna put this up on Sunday, Patreon members, because Attack on Titan comes out tomorrow, and I'm going to upload it Monday for YouTube. So I appreciate it, guys. Answer the questions, and we'll go from there. Like, share, favorite, subscribe, as always.